So welcome to my channel, four-time cancer warrior, and this is part 3. I decided to go ahead and record this as well while I'm on the recording kick. So where we left off is I had my mammogram. My doctor had called me back into the room to do an ultrasound. They had found a third lump, and now they were telling me that I needed to have something called an ultrasound guided core biopsy, and I was going to have to wait a week for that. Was not happy about waiting a week. So I went home, tried to stay busy that week. Again, in my head, still thinking, God's not going to let my parents, only 2 children, have cancer at the same time. So my sister-in-law decides she wants to take me to this. And so she drives up the night before, and we leave and we go to the doctor's office the next morning. And they show us what they're using. And y'all, when you're young, you have dense breast, and they are using what looks like a coffee stirrer straw as the biopsy needle. It's not quite that big, but it's pretty thick. And they want to take 3 pieces out of each tumor, y'all. That is 9 times. They deaden your breast. And I mean, but Julie has been through breast cancer. She had a double mastectomy. She was one of the first patients to ever have the tram flap reconstruction, which was a huge thing. It was like a 13 or 14 hour surgery. I mean, this girl's been through it. So he starts to do this and he cannot get the needle in. I guess my breasts were so dense. And so he's shoving on this thing. Like, he's a big guy. He's pushing on this thing. And I can see Julie out of the corner of my eye, and she is horrified. She's just like, she cannot believe it. And it was not fun. So they do all these, and he told me, he said, this is going to take a week to get the results back. Again, another week to wait. They shove these ice packs in my bra. So I'm like Dolly Parton walking out of this place. And Julie is like, are you going to give her some pain medicine? I mean, when that numbing stuff wears off, she is going to be in pain. And they're like, oh, Tylenol, ibuprofen. So anyway, I go home, and yeah, I was like, okay, I've just got to get through this week. So I'm going to tell you at this point, because this is also my spiritual journey, I was very involved in church. I was the director of our Sunday school class. I sang in the choir, even though I can't sing. My best friend at the time is an incredible singer. And so she convinced me to sing in the choir with her. So I just basically mouthed the words. I didn't really sing, but we spent a lot of Sundays laughing in the choir loft. But I was on the ladies leadership team, and I taught Bible study, and I did quiet time with God. And I don't know if y'all are hearing this, but there was a lot of I's in those sentences. I was doing this, I was doing that. I look back now, and it was not anything that I was doing purposely. I thought I was doing good, but what I was doing was all about me. And it was making me look good, making me feel good, making me look what I'm doing for God. I wasn't doing it for God. I was doing it for me. I mean, I think I thought I was doing it for God, but it's hard to describe. I have since found out that, a lot of people do things like when you go to work every day, a lot of people do that for money. I'm different. I don't, of course, I want the money, but I do it for accolades. I'm very much a person that if you tell me, hey, Tracey got mentioned in the big call today that she's doing a great job, I will work 10 times harder for you. I want to be the best. I've told this a few times, but I'm not allowed to play spoons with my family anymore. I'm a little competitive, and I might have knocked my 5-year-old nephew out of his chair trying to get the spoon. I'm a little competitive, and I want to be first, and I want to be best. And I've learned that that's pride. I've had to swallow a lot of that. So in my head, I'm doing all these things, and I'm a good Christian, and I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, but I wasn't doing it all for the right reasons. And again, not purposely, but just more about me. And I wish I could take that back. So going back to my story, I had had the ultrasound guided core biopsy on a Thursday. They told me I would probably hear the next Thursday. Well, I had done a kickboxing class that next Tuesday morning, and I came in from that, and I got my son, he was 3 at the time, Alec was 3, got him set up at the kitchen bar with a snack, and I thought, I'm going to go ahead and wash some lettuce to make a salad for lunch because, I'm being healthy and I'm eating organic and I'm washing my food and doing everything I can to prevent cancer. And so I'm standing there washing this lettuce when the phone rings. And I look on my caller ID, and it is the breast center where I'd had the test done. And I remember thinking, oh, they've called early, and good, I can get this out of the way. Well, okay, another thing I've learned in the cancer world, if they call you early for anything, it is bad news. Bad news. Didn't know that at the time. So I answered the phone. The girl said, Tracey, this is Tish at the breast cancer center, or the breast center. And she said, how are you? I said, I'm good. I said, y'all are calling early. And she said, yeah. She said, Tracey, are you home alone? And I really, in that moment, I felt like the room shifted a little bit. And I looked over at my son who was eating a snack, and he's smiling and he's chatting to himself and he's happy. And I said to Trish, my son's here with me, but he's 3. He's not going to be a lot of help. And she said, can I get your husband's phone number at work? And I said, no. I said, just tell me what you need to tell me. And I remember thinking, I've got to get out of this kitchen. I can't be in here when I can't be in the same room with Alec when I hear this news. And I can tell you where my foot was in my hallway. I'm headed down the hallway when she said, you have breast cancer. And I got to my bedroom and I shut the door and I said, which breast? And I remember in my head thinking, I just want to know which breast they're going to cut off. And she said, Tracey, I wish you'd let me have your husband's phone number. And I said, no, just tell me which breast it's in. And she said, your left breast is invasive ductal carcinoma, meaning it's already spread outside of that tumor. And it's also in your right breast. It is not invasive. And I said, it's in both breasts? And she said, yes. And she once again asked to talk to get my husband's phone number. And I hung up on her. And at this point, I'm on my knees in the bedroom, in my bedroom floor, and I'm sobbing. And all I can think is I've got to call Don. And I called him and he answered the phone, and I'm crying so hard. And all I can say is it's in both. He said, hang on, I'll be right there. I called my pastor. I said, can you come to my house? He said, give me 10 minutes. And he hangs up. And then I hear Alex saying, Mommy, Mommy. I just thought, his world has changed. My world has changed. I've got to get him out of this house. And so I call one of my best friends down the road. Her name's Suzanne. She's the type that you can call and say, I need this, and boom, it's done. We're still best friends today. She's one of my very best friends. I called her and I said, I need you to come get Alec. And she said, I'm on my way. And I stood up in my bedroom and I dried my eyes and I thought, I can do anything for a few minutes. I just need to get in there, be normal, get him out of this house so that I can completely fall apart. I have breast cancer. How is this possible? So if you would like to see the rest of the story, you can hit that subscribe button and continue to follow my journey for part 4. Thanks, and make good choices in your life.